Progress.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Phoenix Rise podcast. Claire here, your host. So happy to have you with us. You probably just had Christmas by the time you're listening to this. So I hope that everyone had a great holiday season and that you are ready and gearing up for 2024 and what that year ahead has got you. So we have got a very special guest with us today. I'm still on my momentum train of having all of these amazing powerhouse women on the podcast, and I know so many of you have been loving that, so why fix it if it ain't broke, right? So we have got the lovely Kelly, who is part of my world in the Women Thrive Summit, a global stage that we are both speaking on in March. I was going to say next year, but by the time this is released it won't be next year, so in March 24. Kelly, please do introduce yourself before I go on a tangent.
Yes, for sure. Thanks for having me. It's fun to always see the tapestry continuing to weave. So those who don't know me, my name's Kelly Keefe. I'm a human, and I am a creator here who walks closely with God. In 2016, I started the Heart Space after 4 years prior to that, having a remembering of my gifts and what I'm here to do and being led on quite an interesting journey. My 20s were woven with entrepreneurship and my love for business, as well as traveling the world and sitting with spiritual leaders and indigenous elders. And it's all kind of woven together to bring me to who I am today, of supporting people in truly building a successful and profitable life that's in alignment with God and the highest truth.
Oh, I love it. We are so on a level. So you guys know, listening, so me and Kelly don't really know each other. Like, we kind of, like, our energies attracted to each other, so we were pulled into each other's worlds, but we have yet to really, like, find out about each other. So I said to Kelly before we started, I was like, do you know what? Let's just do that in the podcast, because I think it's such a beautiful thing, one, to like, be that fly on the wall, right, and just listen to a genuine conversation, but two, it enables us to just see what message wants to be channeled through us, right? It just enables us to really lose any kind of, like, okay, we must talk about this, let's just go with the flow, we'll follow where the thread takes us, and just trust that if you're listening to this, there's going to be something that you need to hear. Whether you've heard it 1,000 times before or the first time, it's needed for you in this moment. So, okay, Kelly, where should we start? I love how you just said about your 20s, because I just feel we're so similar. So my 20s were very much like the entrepreneur life, getting into that business world, and then in my early 30s I had my spiritual awakening, which led me to where I am now. So why don't we start there, because it's a very similar story for both of us. So what were you doing in business at that time? Where did you start out?
Yeah. So it's interesting. I went even step back. I went into college, I'm going to be a teacher. My whole life I was like, oh, I'm going to be a teacher. And then the end of freshman year, I was 250 pounds, an education and anthropology major. And now hindsight, it was, higher forces be like, okay, it's time to make her who she's here to be. And it was a light switch moment when, changed my habits, I started working out every day, and I changed my major to business management. And with a minor, it was like my niche of entrepreneurship. And so at the last 3 months of my senior year, a professor who I'm still in contact with, bless his soul, this angel, Professor John Buzza, he said, we had someone come looking for an intern to help with his startup company. You're the person. So it went very quickly from an internship to a co-partnership. So right out of school, my first job opportunity was owning a startup in a wholesale retail company. So I was 21 years old, running a global sales team, training them. A lot of them were much older than I, but running sales and marketing and doing the things. So we did that for 2 years. And then, we had to look at the hard truths that it was an expensive hobby more than a business at that time, as it can be, being real with ourselves. So we liquidated assets and we went our separate ways. And then I continued to find myself going into sales and business development, doing some consulting, because I had the entrepreneur bug, where I was like, oh, I can create things, and I had already now held, I was trained by the man who was the vice president of Johnson & Johnson at one point, pouring into me. So I kind of kept gathering these various different things and stepping to different companies and flexing these different tools until in 2016. So I was 27? It's when I opened the heart space. And 1 year later, I came back from India and I was like, this is what I'm doing full time. I just went full time into it and stayed committed.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about the heart space. What is that still going now, or is that something that was?
Yeah, it's still rocking. It's still growing and expanding. God, glory of God. So it started with me doing Reiki sessions. And so at that time, was I master that? I don't know. But I was doing one-on-one Reiki sessions. And then it evolved into, okay, so I do Reiki sessions and I teach Reiki. Still, all these things still are happening. It's just been layers of it expanding and going. So now we're at a space where we also do our 8-week journey courses. I do one-on-one business coaching, one-on-one, I call it frequency therapy. So it's so much more than traditional therapy because we're infusing NLP and I'll insert the bag here of so many tools that makes it so much more. And then we also do retreats. So we just kind of continue to grow and expand of helping people live from a fully activated heart.
I love it. And so I'm intrigued. So
Yeah.
I want to just jump just to my journey a little bit and see where we
Yeah.
So for my journey, I was in the corporate world when I first started. Go back. Okay, let's match timelines. Because when you were talking, I was like, wow, this is so in sync. So I became a sales manager for a global company at 21, and I was the youngest manager that they had ever had.
Amazing.
And I remember at that time, I was like fresh off the school pile and kind of like, young and eager and just lapping it all up. But I found it really hard to know how to be a manager, because I had no experience other than being me. I had no experience of being a manager, of managing a team, of, having that kind of authority that people need, like they need your guidance, they need your mentorship, they need your help. And it was a company where you were just kind of like thrown in and it was like sink or swim kind of thing, right? And so that was my baptism by fire, if you like. And I ended up, again, similar to you, staying in sales, staying in business development, very much staying in the corporate world. And the first business that I started was corporate because that was just the world that I was in and it just kind of made sense, right? And what I love about this conversation, and I'm intrigued to see if this happened to you as well. So when I got to a point where I was bringing in okay money, nothing amazing, but I was kind of like, I was surviving, right? I was at like 50K a year and it was like paid the bills and I was doing my own thing, so it was okay. But I was really unfulfilled. I was just like constantly yearning for something more. Like there has to be something more than this, right? And we get into that mindset of it's the money. I need more money. I need more money. I need more money. Give me the dough, right? And it's like, and we get into this hustle and this grind and this. I mean, for me, and I know a lot of people listening, it was relentless. It was like work, burn out, work, burn out, and it was like on repeat until I had my tower moment. So everything came crashing down around me. I left my abusive marriage and just my whole world transformed virtually overnight. But what happened then is I found my purpose. I found what I was here to do, and I started to embrace, like you said, like the gifts that you're here to share with others, right? And I would love for you to maybe just share did you have a moment like that that put you to opening that heart-led space, or what happened for you?
Yeah, thank you. And I feel it's such an important conversation at like this precipice of the change because there's a lot of the pendulum swing happening of people either being like, I was so focused on money, and then being like, wait, that's not everything, so let me just go focus solely on purpose and forget about money. Or I was so focused on purpose and not caring about money and this and that, and like, where it's like, we need the middle path. It's available. I appreciate, you sharing that, because I definitely, for a good season, I was more because it went deep. I had to do a lot of subconscious rewiring on my relationship to money. I remember one time, like, oh my gosh, where, my family, they showed me love with money. They weren't emotionally available. And I was doing a workshop going through like abundance rewiring, and I came across the core wound where I have running in the program, I don't want money, I want love. So I was literally creating a life where I had so much love. The love of God, the love of people, my friends, and like had a beautiful thing, but I was deflecting money. So it was interesting to start to see that, where it's like, oh, well, no wonder I can't break through this wall or going this and that, where I was kind of the other side of the pendulum, where I was so clear of my purpose. I went into the nonprofit sector for 2 years, working with children in the foster care system, which is still a huge mission on my heart to be of support there. And, now it's a mission I donate to and things. So I actually was the other side, which is fun, where, we've now found each other at this meeting point where we're in a balance. So I'm like, I love money. Money is great. I love helping people. I help people triple their income in 3 months. It's an energetics game. So for me, there was always a deep knowing of the purpose. That's not to say I'm not human, y'all. I'm not like, I never pushed things away or was confused or this and that. But I was led deeply by my heart, where I was just like, the earthly stuff, whatever, I don't need it, this and that, where that was actually the other side for me, where I had to grow into let's really care about the earthly realm and all of these things and see that it's a tool that can help and build.
Oh, I love this. Okay, yeah, I know where you want to take this. So, yes. When I had my spiritual awakening, right, so I wasn't in alignment. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I didn't even really know about having a purpose, right? That was not even in my perception box. It was just not even something that I even thought about. So when I had my spiritual awakening, I've always been really ambitious, right? Always known from being a young kid that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted success. I wanted to make a difference in the world. I knew that I wanted that, and I very much believe that what you desire is meant for you. If you desire it, it's because you're meant to experience it. You're meant to follow it. You're meant to fulfill it. So, so I had my spiritual awakening, and at the time, so I had the corporate business, and I was really drawn to crystals, right? And I had no past knowledge of them, other than maybe seeing them without even really noticing. Really drawn to them, and I was like, I need to do something with them. Long story short, I started my crystal business, my second business, and what happened to me is I felt like, I'm not going to say I did because everything is perception, right? But I felt very much judged from the spiritual world of, hold on, you're like really ambitious, you've got goals, you're not content with just, being of service, like you want materials? Like, check that bag at the door. And it was like, I found myself in a situation where I really had to bury parts of myself in that. There was about a year when I first started the crystal business where I buried a lot of myself, right, who I was, because it felt like it wasn't accepted in that spiritual world. And like you, I had to go deep, and I had to really trust that I got to pave my own way, right? I got to decide what was okay for me, that I could be spiritual and ambitious. And funnily, I didn't do it today, but normally I always start the podcast with, you get to be ambitious and have awakening, right? Spirituality and success, 3D and 5D, because you're here for it around that as well?
Yeah. That's a big, because I also found myself where I was not really consciously judging others of it, but because of my own subconscious programming, there was a piece of, oh, you don't get it. You don't understand the spiritual. Like, oh, it's not the earthly plane. So there was a big for myself where a lot of my awakening process was more of the grounding and like coming back into this, because I've been a high flyer. That's like one of the grandmothers that I study with. She calls me a high flyer. Like I'm very comfortable up there. I've been always very tapped in, having mystical experiences, hearing it all my whole life. So for me, it was more of the coming back down and coming to be at peace with being in the human experience.
I love this so much, because it's like we've got the opposite experience.
And we're meeting at the heart space.
Grounded, and I needed to open up and like open up to, and especially I'm a Virgo, right? And I always
Me too.
That was like my identity. Oh really?
Yeah.
It's really funny, because not like a lot of times Virgos are very like, I like the word realistic. Like, we are. I don't want to tarnish everyone with the same brush, but I think overall there's quite a ground, because obviously we're the earth, we're the mother nature, right? We are the earth, the nurturing, the mother, all that kind of thing. And I find a lot of me, everything needed to make sense. I needed explanation. I needed to see, if I see it, I believe it, that kind of thing. I needed to understand. There was no trust in the universe, trust in the free will, trust in things that you can't see. And that was a big journey for me. And I love how we had the opposite experience, and yours was coming back to earth.
What's interesting, because there's the remembering for all of us that there's different ages of our souls as well.
Yeah.
And I've come to a peace with, and this doesn't make me grandiose, is that my soul is old AF. So as tapped in, but I understand what's happening. So even at a young age, I have been able and continue to be able to see from a very high perspective. So there is this groundedness of, oh, well, this is happening because of this, and this is happening, where there's this innate understanding from a higher perspective that's kind of kept me grounded and going through the things. I was always the wise counsel for people. And my mother always said, like, you need to be the therapist. Like, go be a therapist. Go to school for it and this and that. And I have my love for business. So it's really beautiful to look at the divine orchestration of everything being how it needed to be, and then having that unleash, because I love them both. Like, we just did my retreat in Costa Rica. It's an annual retreat we do in December, and it's called Rooted and Rising, because that's a big part of what I'm here to do, is exactly that, where it's cool. Let's get clear of the vision of who you're riding into being, and let's create the action plan and create the strategies and the tangibles. And a lot of that comes down to us looking at, okay, who do we need to be, which is directly connected to what's our core values. And it's okay for our core values to change. Like, we were having a big conversation amongst the group where some people said, one of my core values in this season of my life is wealth. Because I realized that, to have wealth will allow me to build the things, this and that. And there's some light bulbs going off for some people that were like, I haven't put success or wealth on my list of core values. And again, you don't have to, but it's just a good sobering to look at, oh cool, what are my core values right now? Like for me, wealth and spirituality is always going to be one. I mean, I went through a process of getting a church ready to open for next year. Like spirituality and God is top for me, and so is wealth and business. So it's fun to look at seeing, okay, let's just continue to remember who we are at the soul level and be able to get grounded within the soul and and ground the soul into the earthly, because a lot who are very potent are still angry that we're human.
Yeah. But then we'll get a bit woo-woo, but I believe that we choose to come here, right?
Totally.
We get this choice, so it's kind of the quicker you allow yourself to find out what it is you're here to do, the easier it's going to be, the more in flow it's going to be. It's not like the pushing and the forcing and, you know, like all of that masculine energy. It's like alignment, right? And I talk about this a lot because I think some people hear it and they're like, oh, what's so, you know, running a business is easy. And that's not what we're saying. But what we're saying is when you're in alignment, when you're doing something that you know lights your whole body up, that is what you are literally here to do, everything you do is pleasurable. Everything you do is like, I get to do this. And yes, there are still elements of business that we might not like, in which case we delegate, right? We outsource. We get those off of our plate. So we stay in our zone of genius, in the bits that we do love. And that's what I mean by when I say, you know, in the ease, the flow, and the alignment. It's not like, here you go, you know, sit on your backside and don't do anything. It's like, no, it just means that you get to live your best life. Yes. Right? Like you just had a retreat. Yeah. Technically, it's work. Right? But how worky does that feel? Yeah. You know?
Yeah, and it was, honestly, that's where, like, and I would reflect with them because I stay who I am. Like, authenticity is, a lot of people, I've been really, like, that's my medicine. Like, what you see is what you get, you know, and keeping it real through that and really us all practicing what we teach, you know, and authenticity is a necessity for the Aquarian age. Like, if we're going to lead in the Aquarian age, you got to be wearing authenticity because it can be felt, you know, or like, if you're trying to hide anything, it ain't going to work. You know, I would say to them, I've done different retreats and co-facilitated in different retreats. My energy levels, I was in awe of just like how sustained it was, where I was just like, I've never been more sure that this was exactly what I was supposed to be doing at this exact moment. And it is, where it's just like, cool, let's just groove and flow. And it is like, cool, let's just share this next thing. And it gives us the space to remember we're the vessel. If we're in alignment, it's like not even our energy. It's like, you can use me, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. And this is what I say, right? And I swear people don't believe it when they're not in it. Like, I get it. Like, if you haven't experienced it, then it's like, oh, really? Yeah. But it's like, burnout does not exist when you are in alignment. Yeah. I swear to God, I will preach this until the day I die because I've been burnt out, right? Over and over and over again. But when you get in alignment, there's no such thing because, like I said, like, all you're doing is living your best life. Like, I was in my bed last night. I had like a little semi-nap before I had a call at 9 o'clock with someone that I'm doing a collab with in LA. So we have to do like a late night thing. And I was just, I'm going to make some content because I swear to God, this message that I had in that moment, this is not hustle, right? So you guys listening, I am not talking about, oh, you're in bed and you're making content. I'm talking about when you get something in your brain, you're like, I need to share this. Like, this is, like, someone needs to hear this. I cannot keep my fingers still. I need to create. This is what I'm talking about being in alignment. It's that whole body, like, I need to share this with the world right now. That's what we're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny where, like, thank you for answering it. I had a call with a dear friend, Sister Cloud Part, and she was like, you're a projector by human design. She's like, you're up to so many different things. How do you have so much energy to do what you're doing? And I was like, well, one, I think it's just part of my design where, like, I'm part of I don't really know how to explain what I do. I just do what I do, and it's who I am. But you just nailed it actually in the head, where it's just like, everything I'm doing is in alignment. So there is no burnout because I'm just flowing. So good.
Yes.
So good.
This is what I love. And I think this is, the message that needs to come out because, and I'm a multi-passionate, right? So I have, and that's probably similar to you, like, I have lots of different, my corporate business. I still have it, but I don't actually really do anything in it. This conversation is so funny because when I had that spiritual awakening, I very nearly sold it because I thought that I couldn't have a corporate business and be spiritual. And I was like, oh, that means I need to basically like leave everything that I've created, everything that I've built. Like, you're telling me I can't be in that world anymore? Very nearly. Like, really close. But thank the universe, you know what, divine intervention, whatever you want to call it. I was like, no, I can become a spiritual CEO, right? I know I didn't want to be in it day in, day out anymore. I wanted to do something more in alignment. And so I learned to delegate. I learned to build a team. I learned to find the passion for what it was and delegate the rest. And I have no idea why I just thought, oh, multi-passionate. Something like that. But, you know, and now I have a crystal business that we're franchising because I love that business. I love crystals. You know, I'm holding one right now. I always do when I have podcasts. I don't want to be in it day to day, right? Doing the packing, doing, you know, a crystal live. I learned the way to stay in my zone of genius, to still do what I want to do with the business, and to then follow my passion where it's taking me. And now my passion is all about collaboration. You know, we're building a mastermind, myself and Jane. We're doing a retreat as well in April. Another 5-week mastermind with another collab. Like, everything at the moment is pushing me towards collaboration. And that's where my energy is going. So you don't have to put yourself in a box. You don't have to be like, there's only one purpose and that's the only thing I can do. Because I feel like, I would love for you to share on this as well, Kelly. So I feel like my purpose is to empower women everywhere, to step out of the shadows, shine their light, take up space, and be the goddamn visionary, right? Be the visionary thought leader that you know you're here to be. That is me in a nutshell. And I integrate that into every business, everything that I do. So when you're feeling like, well, if there's only one purpose, that means I have to only do one thing. It's not like that. I would love for you to share a little bit.
Yeah, and something that we just put up on the gram yesterday from one of the talks I did was talking that where, you know, knowing our piece of the puzzle and just getting clear, what does our piece look like? And there can be different facets within the puzzle piece that is there. And I said where there's times I still sit with, okay, I'm working on an album and I have this project I'm working on and I'm starting a church and I have this, but I realize it all comes into empowerment, confidence, radical self-expression, and rooted and rising. So being profitable in our, you know, in our passions. So I'm with you. And it's like, I'm like, oh my gosh, you are such a mirror. Like, we're on the same wave, you know. But it is where it's a space where the more we expand, we realize we are multidimensional and we are infinite potential, but we're infinite potential embodied at a human pace. So we just have to be patient with ourselves. And the essence needs to like calm down. Like, I know you want to do everything, but we got to do it at a human pace, you know, but allow ourselves to explore and to expand. And creativity is the most powerful alchemical process that's out there. You know, so I'm with you where it is that it's not about limiting ourselves. I personally find when I'm supporting people is we get clear of, okay, what's truly in there that wants to come out? Let's clear the blocks that are keeping you from taking up your space and shine. And then let's also start to dial it in. If we get too out there where it's like kind of swimming, then okay, and now what do you want to focus on in this moment? And let's just focus. Follow one course until success. Get some traction going with it, and then let's start the next, and the next, and the next.
So, I love that. And I think as well, like when you're in your purpose, right, when you know what your purpose is, you're in alignment, creativity, it doesn't run out.
Yes.
You know, it's not like, I hear this all the time, how do you show up so much on social media? And it's like, because I have so many things that I want to share. I have so many messages that I feel need to channel through me. And if you're not getting that, if you're feeling like, you know, showing up on social media or making content or even talking about something is a chore, then you're not in alignment, right? You're not in your zone of purpose. You're not doing what you're meant to be here to do, because when you are, that creativity it's endless. It's infinite. Like you said, it just channels through you. Because that's what's here to express through you.
And you know, for someone who may be listening, where like I can like if I feel someone in the collective circle who's sitting with us feeling like, oh well, maybe a reminder to, if there's a resistance to creating in some way, there's that, because we've also created, I call them new cage traps, where we all have created just another cage of this is how it needs to be, and this is what it looks like, and if you're not doing this, you're not successful. A reminder, someone has something on their heart. If you're not inspired to show up on Instagram and speak up and create content, maybe muse it into a painting, or muse it into writing, or dance it, or that reminder that not everyone here, again, know our puzzle piece. Not everyone is here at this time to show up on Instagram and to be a content creator and to teach us and that. You can, there's plenty of space if you're feeling called to it. I'm not trying to knock anyone out. There's plenty of space in the circle. But that reminder that you don't have to limit yourself of what equals the representation of alignment and not, because we're all very unique in that space. And if there's your desire to show up in that sphere, but there's a resistance, take a deep breath. It's okay. It's just, there's just some residual stuff that we get to clear, because often it comes to subconscious blocks of being seen or being heard or taking up space or being ostracized. It can run deep. So I just want to, for anyone, I don't want you to feel, okay, I'm not doing that, so it must be out of alignment, and put down your bags and walk the other way in this moment. Like, an invitation is to explore other mediums of creating and expressing that energy, and really dial into, is it on my heart to share this and I'm just feeling a resistance? And then we can say, okay, cool, that's easy. That's easy, air quote, easy to clear and us to do stuff with. So I just want, for anyone who's listening, I just want to grace pass. It's okay.
Yeah, no, and that's such a great point, Kelly, and I thank you for bringing that up, because I talk about Instagram because it's kind of like my go-to platform, but again, like Kelly said, everyone can channel in different ways. Like, it might be a podcast for you. It might be, like Kelly said, creating art, creating dance. Maybe it's creating a talk that you want to go and share. Maybe it's writing that book. Right? There are so many ways that you can create and express. Don't feel pigeonholed into a box, into what everyone else is doing, because I chop and change between platforms. Like, I have my go-tos. It's like Instagram and podcasts are my favorite channels to express. Absolutely, I just love them. TikTok, I dip in and out, right?
Are you with the TikTok? Are you a TikToker?
I'm on it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying.
But I go through flicks, right? Like, sometimes I'll really love it and it'll light me up, and then I won't. But I don't force myself in those downtimes, like, oh my God, I'm going to lose 100 followers if I'm not on here. It's just like, just release all of that language and know that when it's right, you will feel the pull. You will feel the call. And it's your job then to answer it, not to feel like you have to. I never ever create content in that energy of, I have to create content because I haven't done anything today. That is not going to attract your tribe.
Powerful.
That is energetically, all that's going to do is potentially bring in unaligned clients. Because the energy that you have behind it is like that desperation and that scarcity and that kind of like force energy that we're talking about. But when you're just in that flow and you're just lit up, that's the content, whatever platform this is in, right? Whatever kind of channel this is in, that's the energy behind it that converts. That's the energy that magnetizes. Right?
Yep. Yeah. That's what I think. It's so fascinating of the dance we get to play, and like the work that we're doing in this lifetime is just literally like, hey, this world exists. There's a space of more like ease and grace and fun and creativity and stability and wealth, and you want to come dance in my field? Come. You can just come play. And okay, let's just clear this up. Like, boop. Okay, now we're here. Like, that's one of my favorite things is watching someone wherever they landed in my path. And then in time, it just comes I run into them at an event or something. And like, I realize like our frequencies have now balanced into a space where it's in alignment, where it's like, cool, you made it. And it's like, all right, cool, up top, you're now just a friend, boop. And like, it's such a beautiful dance and gift that we have this lifetime.
I love it. And I think what I would like to kind of finish on is to get everyone to remember that there's enough space for us all.
Yes.
Right? There is enough space for everyone to get to the top, for everyone to play full out, for everyone to realize their fullest potential. Abundance is infinite.
Yes.
Okay? Success means what you decide it to mean. There is enough to go around. There's more than enough to go around. So make the choice to go for it, to make it happen, to live it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what people like me and Kelly are here to help you with, right? To live that life. Stop staring at it. I say sometimes, stop staring at it on your wall and live it. And I'm very much admiring that art behind you right now because I have one. I need to show you. I have one that I actually did when I was 16 years old, and I have it on my...
Amazing, that's 16-year-old you?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, jungle vibes.
Yes. Little did I know. But Kelly, please do share like any final messages, where people can find you. We'll put it all in the links as well, guys, so don't worry. But yeah, please do share.
Yeah. I feel that was like a perfect space of it where there's always room in the circle and there's no competition up here. There's no need for it. There's plenty of people to do the things. It's God's plan. We're all walking each other home. So, do the things. And if you want to connect because you just really resonated, and I love humans, so you can feel free to DM me on Instagram at I am Kelly Keefe. Then we'll also have the links in the bio we're in enrollment right now for Permission Granted, where we help people to rewire the subconscious mind and step into this frequency of prosperity and creativity, full expression and confidence. And you can go and just explore what we're up to there at heartspace.co.
Thank you. Kelly. And there's one more thing that I want to share. I'm feeling really cool to share this. So you need to hear this, okay? Me and Kelly do very similar things, okay? Notice that she's on my podcast talking about her offers, talking about her launches, talking about what she does in the world. I'm not worried.
Yep.
Okay? I'm not feeling like, oh my God, my customers are going to go to her instead of me. There's not enough for both of us. Like, how can I have this woman on my podcast when this is my audience? She can take away my audience. That used to be me. So I just feel really cool to say this. If any of that landed, there is enough space for everyone. And at the top, it's all about collaboration.
Yes.
It's all about raising each other up together.
Yes.
There's no room for competition at the top. That's what keeps us playing small. That's what keeps us in that energy of desperation and scarcity and lack and never having enough, but never being able to get enough. So I just felt really cool to say that. As you were just talking about what you're launching, I was like, interesting. I'm launching in January as well, but this is what it's like.
And it's beautiful where there's soul contracts. There's people that you have a soul contract with to support them at this exact moment, and we could read a script. And I could say one thing to a group of 100 people and it land for 40 of them. And then you come in and read the exact same script and it not land for those 40, but for another 40. And then there's another group of them that neither of us hit because there's someone else who's supposed to come out and read the exact same script and then land it for them. And then that's where it's just creates so much ease in business where it's like, I don't even need to go find clients. I just need to be who I'm here to be. So we can find one another and fulfill the soul contract. So thank you for also resonating at this where we know we're teammates. There's no competition. We're teammates. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so good. Thank you so much.
Same here.
So